Hey, this your girl Michelle Diva. I am bringing you another episode of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 9, Unicorn Overboard. Okay, if you are new here, welcome, 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 welcome. We do reviews here, okay. And if you're returning, welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. This is the Diva Nation. Welcome back. We is all family here's, baby. We is all families here's, okay? All right, give me a thumbs up. Like and share and comment and subscribe to my channel. And we'll begin. We will begin. All right now. All right. So day 3. All right, some of the ladies are going to yoga this morning, and that is Heather, Whitney, Angie, and Brittany. And some of them are just being lazy. that's Lisa, Meredith, and Mary, but they ain't all in the same room, okay? Anyway, so Heather is making real nasty ass commentary about Captain Jason. Captain Jason is not that cute. I don't understand what they all fawning over him. He is not that cute, okay? But she making all this little nasty ass commentary on this man. Just throw yourself at him like Brittany did. Okay. Anyway, so Heather asked Brittany how she's doing this morning. She said, I had whiplash from that pile-on last night. And so she said, for doing the same thing that everybody does. Well, honestly and truly, that pile-on wasn't as bad as Lisa's pile-on, okay? Now, what happens on the plane and everything like that, yeah, that's worse than Lisa. But that pile-on that happened last night, Lisa's pile-on was way worse than that, honey. It was way worse than that, where she was calling John crying and shit. Yeah, so I don't know what you're talking about. So, meanwhile, Meredith and Lisa laying in the bed talking. Meredith was like, Brittany thinks she's a Disney princess. I mean, what's wrong with a Disney princess? Okay. I like Disney movies, okay? I like Ariel. I like Ariel. Princess Tiana? You talking about the Disney princess. And then Meredith gonna ask, who in the Wizard of Oz needed a brain? And then Lisa was like the 10 man. She was like, so she a 10 woman. Lisa, come here, baby, come here. No, baby. The person that needed the brain was the scarecrow. 10 man needed the heart. How long has it been since you watched The Wizard of Oz? Because I watch The Wiz every year. Okay, because Michael Jackson can sing, you can't win, you can't get in, you can't get out of the game. Yeah. So, yeah, I know what Michael Jackson needed, okay? Now, the Tin Man needed a heart. I forgot what his name was. Nipsey Russell? I think his name was Nipsey Russell. He needed the heart, okay? And the lion needed courage, okay? So, check your facts. Anyway, can't get out. Okay, anyway, so she said she the 10 woman. So, and Meredith was like, and I'm mad at Whitney because she should have shut it down when she said anything about the TikTok and stuff like that. She should have shut it down. Girl, she was like, she is not my friend. Ain't none of y'all friends. I don't know why y'all be acting like y'all for real friends. Ain't none of y'all friends. Y'all co-workers. Y'all stop trying to be friends. Y'all not friends. Y'all know y'all not friends. Y'all co-workers, okay? Back to yoga. Brittany said, you say something nice. I gotta laugh at that. You try to say something nice and you get piled up on. Brittany. You wasn't trying to say something nice. You was trying to say something shady. And Heather said it. She said, when you tell someone that they man is cheating based on a TikTok, you should expect a mountain of pile-on, okay? Okay? Don't act like you said something nice. Girl, please, you trying to say something shady, okay? You was trying to say something shady because Meredith said something about you, and you put that you threw that TikTok in there to be shady. Don't act. Stop lying. Stop lying. Why the fuck you lying? Okay, I'm I'm gonna play that for everybody who lying in this motherfucker because everybody lying. Anyway, so 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 yoga finished. Bronwyn goes to Meredith's room and says, she got this unicorn. And she was just like, we need to go, Meredith was like, we need to go throw it overboard. And so, what's her name? Bronwyn was like, we got to go in disguise. So, you still carrying a unicorn? So a big ass shark and a big ass lobster, or something like that. Yeah, girl, please. So they throw it overboard. Okay. So they sit down for breakfast. Of course, um, Brittany was the last person in, and for some reason, they had Brittany and Meredith sit right next to each other. Why? I don't know. Okay. Why would you have them sit by each other? Okay. So then, you know, when she sit down, it's crickets. It is quiet as a church mouse. Ain't nobody talking. Okay. So then Whitney was like, "Let me break this up. Meredith, how's your toe? Okay, let's get into some kind of conversation." And so Meredith was like, "I gotta go see the doctor when I get back." And so, but then Meredith was like, "But I have an issue with you, Whitney." She said, "This little pea brain behind me, okay?" She said, "I barely know, but I know you, so you should." Then she said, "Well, were you, Whitney was like, well, were you mad that I talked about it?" And so Meredith was like, "No, you co-sign, and that's not what a friend does." And so Whitney said, "I gave Brittany a chance." Now, mind you, Brittany is over here just talking, okay? Because she will not be outdone. She gonna talk. So, but Whitney was like, "I gave Brittany a chance to come clean." And Brittany was like, "Well, I said that to you in kindness." God damn. Come on. And so when she said, "I said that to you in kindness," um Meredith start clapping, talking about, "Bravo, here comes the liar. Here comes the liar." And so they loud. Okay, so the cute crew downstairs was like, "These are the loudest people I ever heard in life." I said, "Damn, is that that? What is that loud?" But it had been loud for the whole crew for the whole 3 days. They have been loud, so they gotta get their point across. So um, Britt and Meredith throwing their hair on each other, okay? Because Meredith was throwing her hair on Brittany, and then so Brittany started throwing her hair on uh, Meredith. Brown was trying to say, "Hey, Brittany, stop doing this, stop doing that." And then Meredith was like, "Don't you touch me," and Brittany was like, "Don't you touch me." It was just all kinds of craziness. So Meredith and Whitney switched seats. Thank God, because those two could not be sitting and sitting around each other. So they switch these. So Meredith gonna make the announcement to say, "I am done with her," and 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 whoever wants to support her, I will be done with you too. Oh my God. Okay. I will be done with you too. So Heather was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" She was like, she said, "You can forgive Lisa for digging up dirt and that hot mic moment." Hold on. Let me read you that hot mic moment. Okay, okay, hold on. This the hot mic. Meredith, you can go fuck yourself. I am done with her. I am not a fucking whore. I don't cheat on my husband. Her and her dumb fucking family that poses. Why don't you own a house? Oh, wait, you can't because your husband changes jobs every 5 minutes. Fake Meredith piece of shit. Fuck you. That fucking piece of shit garbage whore. I fucking hate her. She's a whore. She fucked half of New York. You can go fuck yourself. You can forgive that, but you can't forgive Brittany who brought a TikTok. And obviously this TikTok must be true because you are very upset about this TikTok. Okay, so it must be true. Cause if it wasn't true, you wouldn't you'd be like, that ain't even true. I don't even know what you're talking about. But it must be true because it really stirs your beans over there, okay? But you can forgive that. But you can't forgive Brittany. And she didn't even say it's true. She just said, I seen it. Okay. Now she did do it in a shady moment, but all y'all shade each other. So I don't know what the problem is. I don't know. But you can forgive that. But so Heather was like, "We are not in the fourth grade. You can forgive her." Angie was like, "I'm not supporting what she did, but I can you know we don't support anything. We don't even support the gout dick, okay?" Okay, because Lisa told Bronwyn that she sucked gout dick, okay? All y'all shady. You can't forgive that, girl, please. Bronwyn was like, "Mary, say something as a mother." Come here, Bronwyn. You a mother too. But then she says, "Say something as a woman of God." I said, "Okay, okay, okay," because Bronwyn, you ain't a woman of God, but you are a mother. So I don't even know where you got that from, and because um her and Mary and Meredith the same age. Okay, so she ain't her mother, so I don't know what she was going with that. But anyway, it's okay. But Mary was like, "Hell no." Well, she didn't say hell no, but her face said hell no. Okay. Mary in the confessional said they ain't gonna listen to me. She said they keep trying to get their point across. That's all they want to do is get their point across. They not gonna listen to me, and that is the God's honest truth. They ain't gonna listen to you. So they leave. They pack. They leave the boat. They tip the people. Thank God, because some people tried to was talking about they gonna steal their jewelry and shit. So they packed their stuff and they left. So and then they go back and they get Brittany back her unicorn because apparently somebody fished it out the ocean. And she was like, it's wet. Why is it wet? So Bronwyn was like, me and Meredith threw the the unicorn overboard. So Meredith was like, yeah, Uni wanted to swim. Y'all, you got tanner and makeup all over it. So he needed a dip in the ocean. I know that's right. He needed a dip in the ocean. So apparently when they get to the airport and on the plane, Meredith loses her shit. Okay, because everybody says Meredith lost her shit except for Meredith. Okay, everybody's saying that Meredith, and they have the same story, but Meredith. Okay, but they said she was yelling, screaming, and crying per everybody but Meredith. Okay, and Brittany after the flight was in tears and they had to carry her off the plane. Okay, so Mary tells Bronwyn, because Bronwyn was not on the plane because she had to take a different flight. She said, so she tells everything that happened on the flight. Okay, and Mary said Meredith was wrong. Okay, Whitney tells Justin what happened on the flight. She said Meredith lost her freaking mind. Brittany and Lisa were lost her freaking mind on Brittany. Lisa was adding fuel to the fire, talking about you fucked up, Brittany. You owe Meredith apology and stuff like that. So Lisa, okay, so yeah, so Whitney tells Justin that. Then Lisa tells John why she eating her McDonald's because she couldn't wait to get back to some fast food. But Lisa is downplaying her role in the pylon. She downplaying her role to John. Okay, she said Meredith. Okay, lost her mind on Brittany, saying mean stuff about Brittany to me. She said she was saying it all to me. She wasn't saying it to Brittany. She was saying it to me. Okay. But apparently she was loud enough because John was like, well, did Brittany hear? And she was like, yeah, because, Brittany, Meredith was loud. And so then John was like, well, did you say anything? She was like, no, I would never. Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Now you know you was lying. You know you lying, okay? You know you lying. I would never. Girl. Okay, so everybody else says you was in it except for Meredith. And but you telling John that you wasn't in it. Okay, whatever. Heather meets Brittany, and Brittany give her a hug, and she already started crying. Okay, Brittany said, "I haven't slept, I haven't eaten," and so Brittany said they pulled my hair, they shook my seat, and Heather said, and Heather heard, she said, you fucked up, give us this video. And, they came at her full force. Brittany said, and she said, and I defended Lisa. And she did. She defended Lisa on that first episode. She said, I can't believe Lisa would turn on me. I don't know why. She ain't your friend. None of y'all friends. Why y'all act like y'all friends? So she said she just as bad as Meredith. We know that. I don't know why you don't know that, girl. You live in a la la land. I guess you are a Disney princess. I'm sorry. Guess you are the scarecrow. Oh my God, man. Yeah, come on now. We know she just bad as Meredith. Come on now. Anyway, Bronwyn and Whitney. Bronwyn. So Whitney goes to talk about Meredith, because Meredith was, she lost her shit for everybody. But then Bronwyn says, well, Meredith and Todd needs to know etiquette on planes. So apparently somebody witnessed Todd looking at some pictures of ladies that wasn't Bronwyn on his phone. So I don't know if there were text messages of women or they were just pictures of women like on Instagram, and that he just liking pictures and stuff. I don't know if they were text messages so he was actually talking to these women, or were they, some Instagram photos. See, I'm confused on that. I'm confused if they were text messages or were they like Instagram models and stuff, because they got Instagram models. He just may be liking photos and stuff. But Bronwyn said we need to be upfront, Todd and I, about our indiscretions in life. And so she was talking to Whitney, and they were like, we are in the same boat. We have older husbands and stuff like that. And so Bronwyn was like, I would be okay if he wanted to, bring somebody else in the bedroom and things like that, but we have to talk about it. So then, because she was like, I'm willing to try anything. So Whitney was like, well, what's your agreement? And she was like, we don't have one. That's the reason why he doing what he wanted to do, okay? You got to have some kind of agreement, girl. You got to listen, okay? Listen. All right, we got to figure this out. Okay, if you want to see other women, if you want to flirt with other women, we have to have this discussion. Okay? If you want to see other women, you want to flirt with other women, you want to have sex with other women, what we gonna do? We gotta have a discussion, okay? So Whitney says some of my friends have agreements. But she says so you have to have some kind of agreement with your husband. But Whitney said, I'm never gonna say never, honey, because when my kids get out the house, honey, I'm gonna do whatever. I know that's right, Whitney. Let your freak fly. Let your freak flag fly, baby. Okay, you already let your freak flag fly, and your husband lost their job. Don't do it on camera. Don't do it on camera. Okay. Don't do it on camera. Let your freak flag fly, but don't do it on camera. Okay. But your husband don't have no job no way. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so Angie, we're going to Angie. Angie is helping Electra pack for her horse show. So Angie po Electra. I feel so sorry for Electra. Oh boy, she said, she want Electra to compete in the Olympics for Greece. So Electra's face said everything, like, bitch. She said that's a bad idea. Okay, mama, that's a bad idea. She said, why did Papa immigrate to uh America for me to represent Greece and not America? Listen, I totally understand for lecturing. She said, and so Angie was like, well, you know, I'm Greek, and you're Greek, and so, so, um, Electra was like, yeah, I'm aware. I love Electra. So she was like, it's an honor to have roots in a country that started a civilization. Huh? um, I don't think they started civilization. I don't think they started civilization, baby. But you tried it though. You tried it. The oldest civilization is Mesopotamia. Oh, hmm, yeah. You tried it though. You tried it. All right. Anyway, yeah. Egypt, Africa, and all that other stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I got you though. I got you. Okay. Anyway, hell, it China, shit, all of that, shit, India. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone. Anyway, so Electra said Papa was a trainer and Grandpa was a trainer, so I want to be a trainer too. Okay, that's the bottom line. That. Moving on, Heather meets with late ass Lisa. She was late in the motherfucker for her. So Lisa and Heather and Lisa arguing about um Lisa egging Meredith on, and she was like, "No, I didn't egg her on." And she was like, she said, "Yes, you did. You egged her on to torment Brittany." And so, of course, Lisa lying and denying. Lisa is lying and denying, child. Okay. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Girl. um Lisa was like, well, somebody, we were doing all this. Somebody should have stepped in. And Heather said, I tried. She said, and then y'all start yelling at me. And so she said Brittany felt harassed and bullied by you guys. She don't want to be bothered with neither one of y'all. And Lisa was like, we didn't bully and harass her. Lisa in the confessional saying, I've been a great friend to Brittany. Fourth of all, okay. No, you have not, okay. Second of all, you ain't been a friend to nobody, not even Meredith, okay. Cause y'all not friends, y'all co-workers, okay. That's first and foremost. But she said, I draw the line when she talks about Meredith and her marriage. Why? You talking about Meredith and her marriage? Only you could talk about Meredith and her marriage. Okay, you want me to repeat what I said? Because he can't hold a job. You fucked everybody in New York. You was a fucking whore. Okay, you talked about Meredith and her marriage. You the only one can talk about Meredith and her marriage? Oh, okay, I got you. And so she said Brittany has not taken accountability for what she said. I just want to know, how many marriages have you talked about, Lisa? Okay, including Meredith. Okay, Bronwyn, the gout dick. Remember her? Remember that? Remember that? Angie, the circle jerks. Remember that? Remember that? Okay, and Meredith. You fucked it all of New York, and your husband can't hold down no job. Okay. So they go back and forth, back and forth. Heather was like, "Fuck it, you could leave. I waited an hour for you anyway. You could fucking leave, okay?" So they scene is over. So Meredith meets with Mary, okay? All right. So this is real weird right now. Meredith was like, no, Mary was like, listen, I know when you're angry. and I know when you say it's enough and things like that. She was like, but this was a different type of anger. Meredith was like, well, what did you think happened? Mary was like, I don't think I was there. I witnessed this. It went on for a minute, okay? So Meredith was like, maybe 15 minutes. And Mary was looking at her like she was crazy. Because everybody else said it went on for the whole plane ride. And that plane ride was, what, 15 hours or something like that? I don't know how long it was, but that it went on for the majority of the plane ride. I don't think they went on for 15 hours. But Mary was like, no, Meredith, it was a longer time. She said, do you remember? And she was just like, Meredith was like, well, you were sleeping, and I was sleeping, and I watched 2 movies. Yeah, and between that time, you were still harassing Brittany, you and Lisa. And so Mary was like, well, every time I woke up, you was still talking. I still heard you. Then she was like, you didn't hear me. You was all the way across the plane. It- the plane ain't that big, okay? The plane is not that big, okay? And so Mary was like, I still heard you. And she was like, and Whitney said people were complaining. And she was just like, no one complained. No one complained. Because if somebody complained, there'll be an air marshal to arrest me. No, baby, you are on a show. Okay? You are on a TV show. Okay? They weren't going to arrest you. You now I don't know, especially because you white. Because I think if it was the Real Housewives of Atlanta on the plane, the air marshal would have met them. But I don't, no, no, baby, no. And so, air marshal would have waited up. Girl, wasn't no air marshal gonna be called on you. Everybody was white except for Mary. Okay, wasn't no air marshal gonna be called on you. Okay, but Mary was like, you should apologize, and she was just like, you think I should apologize? She said, yeah. She said, apologize for you, not her, just for you, to for your wellness. That's what she said, for your wellness. Okay, you need to apologize. Oh, that was the end of the episode, child. But I believe that Lisa and Meredith was tormenting Brittany. Okay, I do believe that. What I want to know is how come nobody had no cell phone footage or no audio or something like that. I guess Brittany is the only people that try to record stuff, and she couldn't record. I don't know. Maybe everybody's phone, they confiscated everybody's phone. I don't know, but I don't know why they ain't had, or it may come out in the end. Okay, I don't know, but that's the end of the episode. So give me a thumbs up, like and share and comment and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.